Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to talk about and set up, Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to talk about my previous reading journals / book trackers and set up my very simple current reading journal. So the evolution, if you've been following my channel, I have done a reading journal for 3 years. I started it in 2021, 2022. So 2021 and 22 are in here. And then last year, I thought I was going to get all fancy because obviously I got into a nice rhythm of reading that I would make a whole separate little journal, all the setup, do all sorts of elaborate pages and reviews. And I fell off the boat with this like real quick after January. So this year, we're going to keep it very simple. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 things in it, and that's it, because that's the only thing that I really need and care for to document. And my document is really just kind of placing the book covers mostly and star ratings, but I'm trying to get a little bit into writing a little book review on the books that I read. So let's start real quick with 2021. And I am going back, side note, to the Discbound. I just like Discbound. So in 2021, I simply started reading and putting the book covers right here. Loved the way this turned out, but I also thought I didn't love it. But I do love it, and we're going kind of back to the way this was. So I would just write the star rating with a small stamp that I can't even remember where the star stamp is from. And I literally just keep it on a 2x2 little grid at all times, and it sits on the side of my desk. I don't know where that little star is from, but that's what I've used for years, and it's stayed there. So don't ask me where the star stamp is from. So this is how I did it in the beginning. So it was just the book covers, and I got 5 across and then 3 down. Love the way this turned out. And so for 2021, these were all the books. And then I think I fell off with the last few in December, if I remember correctly. So that's how I did it. Then that was it. That was basically my reading log. I didn't have anything else. I just kind of finished the book and saved the cover in like an album on my phone. And then when I had, I think it was 8 fit on a 4x6, that many. Then once I had 8, I would print because this is photo paper. I would print that out and then stick it in here. Then as far as book reviews, I was making them 3x4 cards. So just a 2 on 1 4x6, because these are photos again. And you can see, like, for my truly my favorite ones, I did write stuff. And don't get me wrong, this is still my favorite one. Like, I this is a series. I haven't even finished it. But, like, I didn't write much. I just worried so much about making it pretty with scrapbook paper and stuff that once I was done with it, I, like, moved on to something else. So that's where that year came and went. Then in 2022, I did this whole nice thing. I made this little log, which actually worked out fine. And my ratings worked out fine. I was looking through this, and actually all these 5 stars that were from this year, I still are 5 stars, and a majority of them I now own, because if I like borrow it from the library or listen to it on audio and I love it, I tend to want to buy it and have a home on my shelf. Yeah. So like, yeah. And that worked out great. So then I even read so much that year that I just had a blank page that I just kind of added to it. I made this cute thing, washi tape, stamped it, never used it. I had a DNF list, so DNF did not finish. And then this year I had done it by month. So every month was like this with the book covers. And then I did attempt to write reviews once again, but you can see here's January holding strong. I think I only did it. Yeah, my reviews were only of the 5-star reads. So that means I probably didn't love this one, right? Because I only did 4. So 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, out of the 8. So half of them I gave 5 stars. Oh yeah, and I remember this one was terrible. Yeah, and I really didn't love Song of Achilles. So those are like, yeah, the 2 that some of them I didn't do. And then I did it for February, and then I had these done, I remember, in March. So I did do good in March, and then that's where this one died. So And here's the thing. I thought breaking it up by month was good, but this was the problem at the end, because then in order to see like everything I read, I had to like flip all the pages to find, oh yeah, what did I read in March? So that's why I went back to doing it in a line, like just having it continuous, and I'll mark off underneath it when I read it, because having it then like this, and then come April, here's May, like I just did the book covers and that was it. And I didn't even do December. So that's when I didn't like this way. I was like, you know, that's not working for me either. So then that's when I had this. There is a whole setup video for this one. I had purchased printable. The journal is from Michael's. It's actually a really good journal as far as paperweight. This is 120 GSM, just like Archer and Olive, but this notebook costs $10. And if you have a coupon, you can get it for $5. So this one, I did the whole gorgeous setup. All the florals in this one are all from Live Love Posh. I had 23 and 23, so these are the top books I wanted to read this year. I did read this one, so I did good. I just still have to read 4 there, 5, 6. Oh, and I never got to this one, 7 and 8. So yeah, so out of 24, I didn't read 8, and that's pretty good. But here we are again. I had this like tracker for book read. I wanted to read 100, then for Goodreads it was 100 again, but I was trying to color code it between thriller, fiction, like too much effort. Here was the bookshelfie again, never even colored it, just wrote the titles, did a bunch of pages for that. A to Z, a bingo, didn't finish that. Look, stats, I didn't even do the stats for the year. Monthly favorites, I did go back and do the favorites, and then I just wrote them in here for the rest of the year. Book of the month. Now, I skipped some months and I did get other ones, but didn't finish it with this. Reading with Hibbo was a book club that I thought I was going to be a part of, but never really joined. And then this was the only thing I really used, was just the reading log, which I did have in the other ones too. I didn't even do the ratings though, so that kind of stinks. You know, and then I had a list for 5-star reads. See, all these florals that not to say wasted, but in essence wasted, because this went to the pits. Like, this is so pretty. And then this is where I started doing all the covers. So this is where I loved it again. But here, where I'm going to make rectify it now this year, is because now I didn't, on this one, didn't mark off which were January, February, March, April. So they all blended together, which is fine. But for me, I think I always want to know, like, okay, I read, 6 in July and 10 in February, just to know which months are like a heavy reading month, like, and stuff. So this is what I love, this part. So we're keeping this, okay? But then I fell off here, which I think was August, and I did have them printed. So then I got better at not using my photo paper. I just printed them on, well, now I have a color printer, so that's how I started doing these, and didn't really adhere them anymore. And then after all of these pages were there, this is where I started doing book reviews. And I was good for January and February, possibly. And then I started falling off. And I think because, not to say it became like an assignment, but in a way it did, because I know what it is too. Sometimes I read, sometimes it's an audio, sometimes it's a physical. And the physicals are way easier when I read the actual book for me to do these, because like I already highlight the book if it's mine because I usually write like a quote or a little synopsis, and I try to write my favorite quotes from it. And so then when it was audio, I would always have to go like on Goodreads for like quotes and look through them, because I wanted to always include a quote. So like I said, it just became kind of like homework. And then like I started leaving stats or pages done, because I would get them all done and still do it, and like I'm going to come back and do it. But as you read more books and books, if you don't keep up with things like this, you forget. So, I was trying to write March and then come back to it. And I did keep up with putting them down. I wasted all of these stickers, and then I truly just gave up on it. So for this year, all we're doing, and these printables are from Planning with Elise. She's on Etsy. I will leave it down below. I do want to keep the shelfie. So, and it comes with cut marks, so it does fit the Happy Planner classic size. And then this is my printable, or I don't have a printable. I just made this chart real quick, alternating the grays, and counted down 1 through, I think it's 125. So it'll be punched here. This is where it'll start. And then I did print them double-sided so that I can have the log, because the log I do care about, rating, and then genre, because I do actually have a good variety of genres. So these both are printed on, what is it, Epson white presentation paper. So this is heavy cardstock. And then this printable as well is from Planning with Elise, and it's just for the book reviews. So again, the cut marks are there. It's the title, author, you know, probably, you know, if I did audio, physical, ratings, and then just a little area to write something about the book. Whether I say, you know, love the main characters, you know, if it's a romance, like, you know, enemies to lovers or second chance romance, something that kind of jogs my mind to it. And that is it. But at least this way I'll have, oh no, it'll be this way to this way. So it's binded. I'll have the book covers smaller in here. And then the only thing I will create, and I'll take probably more of the presentation paper, is I do just want to have those pages of all of the books. And so I'm using the same font. These were the font. I mean, they're stickers that I used in the first year one. So this one, because I still have, and actually I have 2 packs of these. So I could have busted out my stamps, but in essence, we're making this page again. That way I have enough room to write the month and the star rating and be happy. So really, we're just cutting this down, and I'm setting up a bunch of these pages. See, books read, more books, and I probably need a third one. And actually, I think I'm just going to use this book and just use the divider and keep it here. So very simple. This was one of those guided notebooks, so it has like these kind of pages in here already, and then it just has a bunch of like dot grid paper. So we're just going to use the dot grid paper. And then just use this section. And I had thought about, I think if you follow me on my stories, so this is my memory planner for the year. And I'm thinking about maybe putting it in here with it, because at least I'll touch it a lot and it'll be on my desk rather than kind of closing this up and keeping it on the shelf. If I keep it as my, hold on, baby. If I keep it as my memory planner and then take out like the back 6 months and then keep my reading journal in here, I think I'll do a little bit better at keeping up with it. So we'll empty this out halfway and then put it in here, because I do like this cover a lot. Yeah, it's the inside of this one. I just like this one better. All right, so let's get started.
Okay, everyone, so I sped this up really fast since it was pretty much just paper trimming everything down and fitting it into my classic size Happy Planner. I will leave the links to these kind of pages that I purchased down below in the description box. And then the ones that I made are just kind of pages that I did. I just did a chart, so it's fairly simple. Like I said, I just added numbers on it, so it wasn't that hard to do, but definitely just want the log. I'm trying to keep this super simple in order to keep up with it. I have crashed and burned for 3 years, as you see from my other notebooks, and I'm just really trying to keep a record of it. Hey, you never know. If this, I can do this well for 2024, maybe we'll go back to doing some more of the elaborate pages, but for now, these are just the, 3 or 4 layouts that I need, and I am okay with that. So also let me know, or at least if you are a big reader like me, follow me on Instagram, because I usually do like a quick, not a reel, but like in my stories, just kind of like what I thought and a quick rating for the books that I read. So currently, like when I'm already filming this and then now doing the voiceover, I've completed 3 books. So I have 3 books waiting in a folder on my phone, and that way, like I said, when I get sticker paper, I'll print a whole bunch of them, but that way I can kind of just keep up with it simply here. I do take the time to take out the back 6 months from my Happy Planner that I'm using as my memory planner, and that way this can sit in there, which I think will be a very good idea on keeping this active and on top of, and all the things that I always forget. So for this one too, I am adding the stickers to write books read, and then I do 2024 on the next layout. And I think I will go in though and make kind of like a shelf, but keeping it maybe with a mint green shelf, and that way I can write the star rating and then also have the month that I read it in, because those 2 things are kind of fairly important, at least for me. I always like to know some months I can read 4 or 5, other ones I can read 10, and it's just kind of nice to see the trend that I may have. So that's all that I want with this one, but I just love looking at the book jackets, so that's why I like this spread the best. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.
All right, so that will wrap up my reading journal. I did put it in the back end of my memory planner, so we will do my memory planning in the front through August, and then my reading journal sits inside. We have, let me zoom in a little bit, we have the bookshelfie for the 100 books. 100 is a goal for me. And then books read, so I will have the shelves going on here with all the book covers. And I thought about writing in 2024, but I just thought, leave it blank for now, because if anything, maybe I'll have an extra row on the side, but definitely to mark the year. And I have one more spread in case I need it, because I didn't do the math on how much it is to get to 100. But at least, even if I have to add another page, it won't interfere with then the reading log, which I added and made myself. And then we'll start the reviews. I think here I'll just put maybe some pattern paper in the end, or just leaving it blank white. So it'll look great when you start, and then when you have the double page. And I think I printed out 10 or 20 of these sheets already. So 20 times 6 is, right, because there's 6 per page. 2 times 6, so 120. Is that all I need? That can't be right. I don't know the quick math, but I can always print more. It was my point of my story. So that way I have all of them here. And that way, like I said, once again, it's part of my memory planner, and I will be touching this weekly so I can update it as often as I need to, because it'll always be handy. I hope this gives you a little inspiration on how to keep it very simple if you're interested in doing a reading journal, and not to overcomplicate it, because especially at least someone like me, I have so many other projects always going on that this became too much, but I still wanted to do a certain aspect of it. And don't get me wrong, if you are just a big reader and you don't do any memory crafts or crafts and stuff like I do, then having an in-depth reading journal is your crafty outlet. So that is fantastic. I think just for me, I have a lot of crafty outlets. And while I do want to keep track of my reading for the year, I don't want it to be cumbersome, because some of my other projects are a little bit more important, I hate to tell you. But even so, it'll be nice in case this fits in here with the reading journal to have like your whole year in one notebook. That actually is kind of perfect if it doesn't get too chunky. But it usually does get chunky, because I think all the time I always end up going to the bigger rings. So these are the classic gold. And I really like this cover. I'm so excited. All right, so let me conclude. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe, give this a thumbs up. And until next time, everyone, bye.